Cassava growing everywhere in the yards. The roots are massive and make a big load of food. If you don't grow it yourself, you can source it at the grocery store. Today we're cooking it up three ways: as a dinner, as a snack, and as a breakfast, and there are no exotic ingredients required. So here I am with all this cassava root. It's already been in the fridge for a day. It has no shelf life. As two days, 3 days max, even in the refrigerator. That's why those from the store are waxed on the outside, but this came fresh out of the ground and I really need to do something with it. We'll be cooking some up that will go with dinner tonight. And then I'll see what I do with the rest. No matter what you do with it, it needs to be prepared. So this is washed to wash the dirt and sand off. Um, they're full of cyanide until they're cooked. Most of it is on the skin. It has that brown skin, which comes off easily, of course, with potato peeler or something. But you also need to get this other white skin part. This comes off fairly easy. You just peel it back all around the whole root until they're all nice and clean. See the brown outside layer and then this bright white. Yeah, it's a second skin. It's pretty cool, really. There's another one right here. You can see the difference. So I'm going to clean these up. I'll proceed from there. All right, this is actually quite satisfying work. See the inner core, it doesn't always come out to pull, but so I just cut it out a notch like this and the outside skin is off. So there, all peeled, washed, and cored. I left this piece kind of yellow already, so I didn't want to use that. And the rest is washed in the strainer. This is the banana leaf outside pushing the sun away. That is a lot of stuff. So I will chop some up to freeze it, and then I'll make the dinner part with it. That will be boiled, and then we'll add some things to it. And then I'll do another thing that I put aside so we can make some chips and some straw fries for the next recipe. So these two bags are, it's raw, they're ready for the freezer. You treat them when you defrost them, take them out to cook them up. You just treat them like they would be raw. You know, they start selling them in the stores too now, but they're usually not in small cubes. They're still in the whole round thing. I've even seen one at Aldi one day. But it's cool to have in the freezer so you don't have to go in the garden and dig up a root. And then the rest is in the pot now. This is the one for dinner tonight. That's the gas starter. Boom. And they're saying it's enough to boil for 20 minutes. Opt for the safe side, so I will be boiling this for 30 minutes in a well-ventilated kitchen, which is not a problem today because I have the doors and windows open. Of course, there's a lid that goes on. Look at this. I ordered some mesh strainers, and they're all cute until I found out the big one doesn't have a handle. And that's not on purpose. It's supposed to have one. I tell you what, quality control went down the hill. Also, I found out, I did some researching while the cassava root was boiling. And yes, traditionally it is either boiled entirely or blanched before freezing. So that'll make it a whole lot easier. It's a lot less time to prepare a meal when you can take the frozen and already cooked one out. So there, they boiled their time and now they are It's hard to describe. They are soft but still firm. This is not like a regular potato where the longer you cook it, the softer it gets. This really remains its shape. It has a little bit of texture when you bite in it. And oh my God, it's so good. I don't understand why the US isn't catching on yet on this stuff. It grows so easy. It's so tasty. I mean, there's less bugs. There are really no bugs on the roots or the leaves. Compare that to potatoes who are on the dirty dozen because they get sprayed so heavily. So at this point, you can eat it with just a little bit of butter, salt, some pepper. But I'm going to do something different. And for that, I have to spread them on a plate so they dry out a little bit. There they are steaming away. And I didn't mean dry out as in dehydrate. I just meant dry up. I don't want the outside wet. That's it. All right, so it's time to cook this up. It's time for dinner. This has been just sitting around here. That's all good. And now there are a lot of recipes out there from countries where this is frequently eaten. But I'm here in the US and I don't think I need to source all sorts of exotic ingredients, although it's fun to try, super fun to try new recipes. But in this case, I'm just throwing together what we have here. So I had some bell peppers from outside, jalapeno, tomato, onions, and some sausages, and the cassava root. I won't show you how to cook that. It's pretty simple, right? It's a stir fry. I just put it in the pan when it's hot enough, but we'll see how it comes out. I do want to point out one thing. So in a cast iron pan, no matter what you do, usually potatoes get stuck a little bit, unless you cook with Teflon, which I don't do. Frying potatoes with just a little bit of coating of oil and not deep frying them get stuck. These don't do that. They're super clean, they stay together, they don't stick. Such a great vegetable, it really is. There, done. It looks pretty, huh? Well, this isn't really a recipe. That's good. Needs a little bit more salt. All I put on was salt and a little bit of paprika. And this just happened to been the vegetables I had. But you can put other things in, of course. Green beans, peas, more onion, have whatever to taste about. And if you don't like meat, leave it out. Don't put any meat in it. Don't put sausage in it. You could make it with bacon though. That sounds good. Anyway, I think because of the firmness of these guys, I think I will try next Chinese stir fry, like sometime down in the future, not in this video, a Chinese stir fry, and use the cassava root as a substitute for the water chestnut, because that's something I never have in the house. If you can think of anything I should be making and trying out to make another video, please let me know below. But in this video next up will be chips, and these I don't know what I call them, the straw chips, the really thin ones. We'll make them next. Okay, shoestring chips and regular chips. I sliced them, mandolin. They look kind of like cheese slivers. Obviously this isn't a round chips thing, but who says it has to be round? There are some more. And then I did the shoestrings. This looks so cool. It's so bright white. It's really pretty. That was easy because my mandolin has one of these shoestring thingies. Now, one way of reducing the cyanide is by fermenting. And obviously I'm not going to ferment them to where they turn sour, but I will, after 1 or 2 water changes, I will let these sit in on the counter overnight, and then we can cook this up tomorrow. I'm sure you could let it sit 2 days as well, but in my case, it'll be 1 day. Okay, so here are these thin ones and the chippy ones. They've been sitting overnight just on the counter. I'm getting ready to fry them up. However, the more I read, the more I decided I'm going to cook these first, because I could not find really good evidence that deep frying will neutralize the cyanide in it, so better be safe than sorry. Bear with me, I have never done this before. Drained and rinsed, And I'm just going to, won't cook them forever, but give it a 2-3 minute blanch in some rolling water. It's going to be easy with this one. And that one doesn't work so well. But hey, they come in handy already. So they come into a boil here, but look at this. What's that remind you of? I think that looks like glass noodles, you know, the rice noodles? So, and they hold up. They're not fragile or anything. Look at this. I may have to make some Asian soup or something too with these. This opens a whole new world of cooking. These are drained and rinsed with cold water, and now the problem is that they're super wet, of course. So I let them dry up a little so that my oil doesn't splatter all over the place. I find these so intriguing. Radish hair. Huh. So here we are. The fat's just a little over 350. Wow, I pulled it out, there was less. And I think I do these Parmesan sliced things first. We'll just put a whole bunch in there. And we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't get too splashy because they still are pretty wet. So these are out. A little bit of salt. And then a taste test. And yeah, they kind of snap. It is like a chip. That's why. Oh, you hear it. Hey, they're good. Maybe some garlic salt on it, or paprika, or I don't know, cinnamon. It's good. Now do those little thin ones. And go the glass noodle ones. Whoa. I should probably not do that. Ah, they recovered. They're out. And they are just about the coolest thing. Watch. They really snap and crackle. It's like a really thin noodle, but it's a cooked vegetable. I think this is so amazing. Tastes good too. Wow. Here they are. I have to control myself trying to eat them all. I want the guys to have some too when they get back. But that is a total winner. I can entirely picture this. See, when you eat a potato chip, then you bite twice and it's mush. But these stay crunchy for a lot longer without being too fibrous. They just retain that crunch. The bigger ones, fabulous. The other ones, the little ones, that's just, they could probably be made a little bit bigger, but I kind of like the way they look. Imagine as a topping in soup, topping on salad. Heck, you can't even look, it looks like a nest. You can put it on top of a cake. Put cinnamon and sugar on it. Fabulous stuff. Now, I don't have a comparison, still crunchy, of how they turn out when they're made raw, but because I cooked them, I don't have to worry about any of the cyanide in it. What have I done? This is gonna take hours. Please remember they splash a lot. Use a deep pot. Don't make my mistake. Son, where did all these chips go?
In my belly.
Were they good?
Definitely a keeper.
All right. Okay, breakfast time. This is the frozen one. And obviously for breakfast, it would be convenient to have them already cooked. However, I never froze cooked ones. I'll try that, and there'll be an update video for this anyway. So same procedure. These go into the water, and then we'll boil that for 20 to 30 minutes. All cooked and drained, and I'll just let it cool off a little bit so I can handle it. And then the next step. So I tossed them with, they cooled down a little so I could handle them. Tossed them with a little bit of olive oil, pepper, salt, and paprika, and now it goes in the oven to roast up. Now look here. They were in the oven for, I think, 20 or 30 minutes with the spices. You put some bacon with it and an egg. In my case, you will have to imagine that because 10 hands, you haven't been laying in weeks. it seems. They're molting. So the invisible egg is over here. And you're set with a typical American breakfast without potato. That's pretty cool. See 'em? These are the freeloaders. Thanks for watching.